What up, guys? We're gonna be doing another movie review. This time, The Last Jedi. I'm gonna take the mask out though. Yeah, the voice change is a trip. So, how you doing this up? So first of all, spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, watch the movie first. Just because I don't want to ruin it for you, and I don't want to ruin a big moment or theme or anything. I don't want to spoil anything that you guys might enjoy at the movie theater. So if you haven't already seen it, go watch Star Wars: The Last Jedi. All right. So besides that, let's get to the nitty gritty. A lot of people liked it, and a lot of people didn't. So this is the most divisive Star Wars since Disney took over. I feel like the critics seem to like it. Some of the fans not so much. I enjoyed the movie. I didn't have the greatest experience watching the movie because someone brought a baby and then the baby wouldn't stop crying throughout. So it would take me out of some moments, um, and that is not the most enjoyable way to see the movie. Besides that, though, the movie is gorgeous looking. There's a lot of stuff where it's like amazingly beautiful shots. A lot of stuff with Luke, a lot of stuff in the Imperial, like in Snoke's chambers. Some of the best space battles we've seen in Star Wars. Period. Um, how they deal with taking down ships, how they deal with the war, like you know what I mean. Like that was really cool. But there is problems with this movie. A lot of it is just that I think Ryan Johnson was tasked with one pushing these new characters, storylines, and arcs through and developing them, but also setting up the future while also paying his respects and using the legacy characters. And I feel like there's these two main characters, Ray and Kylo, and they have a story arc, but then it's like, hey, you got to also include Finn and now Rose, which is put in, and they have their own story arc, which like takes you to another city, and then there's like these themes of slavery and like the rich and who. All right, I'm rambling on, so let me try to reel that back in. Um, let's start off with there. Like, some people had problems with the comedy. Some they're like, oh, they're making it too much like the Marvel movies. Or these are too kid friendly. First of all, Star Wars is, I don't know. I don't want to get into like it was meant for kids or not. Anyone could enjoy these movies, sure, yes. But like the form of comedy, it just felt weird. Like sometimes there's like you just seen this crazy space battle, and then Poe hits up with like, and this is like the first 5 minutes of the Last Jedi, and he makes like a mama joke, like yo mama joke, like I'm trying to talk to Hux's mom, and you're like, what? I've never seen that in a Star Wars movie before. Um, then there's this moment where Luke sees Leia in person for the first time or face to face, and he makes a comment about her hair, like, you know what I mean? Like it, it's like these comedic relief moments in like we haven't seen Luke and Leia together since Empire, and like really, their first words to each other are gonna be fucking like a fucking joke about her hair, like, oh, you look different, you know what I mean? And that's nitpicking it. But like, I remember for years people were like, what is Luke's first words gonna be? Like, what is he gonna say? Since Force Awakens ended, everyone's like, what is it? He just chucks his lightsaber, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? Like it just felt like it was different. It just felt different. It didn't feel like The Force Awakens. Like, if obviously it was another director. Um, and sometimes it wasn't bad. Sometimes it felt different. For sure. And you like know, like you could visibly just feel like, oh, this is where I'm watching something different. Um, so what else? Like, let me, because there's so much stuff. So there's the comedy beat, the beats. There's like you, they're expanding on Jedi and what they can do without really explaining to you what the fuck. Like, there's this scene where, also in the beginning, first act, where the cockpit where Leia is staying at, or she's commanding, her command station gets blown up. She goes out, and I was like, Jesus, all right, so they're gonna kill Leia in the first quarter of the movie. I thought, well, it's not a bad send off. Like, it was Kylo gonna do it, he didn't do it, so now we're like left. Is he gonna turn? Is he gonna flip? And then she's out floating in space, and you're like, you know what? She's gonna turn ice cold. Maybe Kylo's gonna see her. They're gonna share a moment. The Resistance will like probably recover her body and throw a huge funeral at the end of the movie. We're all gonna cry, and it's gonna be the perfect send off. No, she fucking uses the Force. She starts floating through space like she's like, oh my god, did she just become Peter Quill? All of a sudden she just starts floating through space, and like, and you're like, what, when the fuck can she do that? Like, we didn't know she could even do that. And it's like, that was one of the moments where I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that. Like, I kind of like Princess Leia going on in battle. It made sense to me, but they didn't do that. Okay, fine. That was one of the moments where it felt weird. Movie keeps taking along. All of a sudden, they need a coder. We need a coder to break back into the ship, which is like a MacGuffin or whatever. Like, they can track, even if we're in hyperspeed, they can track us. Okay, sure, we'll take it. Well, we'll stick with it. So now Rose and Finn were like, well, we need to go to a planet nearby, and there's a casino, and we're gonna find a dude. You know what I mean? Like, with a red rose or whatever the fuck. And you're like, okay. At first, I was like, Lando? And if it would have been Lando, I think the theater would have gone nuts. But no, it's a Benicio del Toro's character who I really liked. They didn't give him a lot to do, but I dug his character and his stutter, and the choices he made was dope. But like that whole like leaving the ship to go to a casino where it's like, well, who's here? The rich. And well, what do they do? Well, they're arms dealers. You know what I mean? Like, you're only truly free if you're not part of the war. Like, you sell weapons to the good and the bad, and you profit. Like, it tried to make a statement about war, which like was on the nose, but also like, I don't know. I like the statement. I agree with the statement, but I'm just like, I just didn't like taking them out of the action, putting this whole other narrative, and there's like slaves and like fucking, which they bring it back, and then it made sense. So at the time, you're just like, oh my god, this kind of like, it's kind of dragging. It's like it's dragging. Like, it's like when are we gonna get to the good stuff? Like, when is Snow gonna come out? So the stuff in the casino, we could have, I don't know. I felt like that's a lot of people's complaints. They didn't like those scenes. They didn't like Rose. They didn't like Finn stuff. Captain Phasma was Boba Fett like, really cool character, underserved. She like if she would have fought Finn and beat the shit out of him in the first movie, if she's the one who like critically left him for dead, and the Resistance finds him, gets him, cures him, and then on this movie, he goes back into, like, it all stays the same. He goes back into the ship, and unlike a coward who would run away, he's like, you know what, fuck that. I'm gonna face Phasma, and even with the fucking buckethead joke, if he phased her and then finally he beats her and kills her, it's earned. No, he didn't beat her last time. They just put her in a trash compactor, and this time he just gets the upper hand and kills her so easily. You know what I mean? Like, for a character they made such a big deal in marketing, and she has her own shirt and she has all these toys. Barely in the movie. Like, she almost doesn't even matter. Uh, Not since Darth Maul has there been a villain character so underused than Snoke. And this is a big spoiler, so sorry guys. Um, Snoke, for 3 years since Force Awakens came out. Well, since the trailer, who is this guy? Is he Darth Plagueis? Is he Samuel Jackson's character? Is he this guy? Is he that guy? Doesn't fucking matter. He gets killed like nothing. And look, it's his hubris, and Rey. Like, there's just all these undertones where Rey does tell him, "Your downfall will be your hubris, your cockiness, whatever." Like, he constantly puts down Ben. He doesn't think of Ben. He's like, he thinks of him as some weak kid who got everything because he was a Skywalker. He kind of did. He doesn't. He's like, I don't like. I saw something in you. I don't see it anymore. He's like, you're a kid playing pretend. You know. And he like berates him in the beginning, where he gets so mad and he cracks his helmet, and he doesn't wear his helmet. So it's like, oh, J.J. Abrams, you designed this helmet. You thought this helmet was cool. You smashed. He smashes it. It's gone. And then Rey, Kylo, seen in in Snoke's in his chambers with the Imperial guards. One of the best scenes maybe in Star Wars. I don't know. It was so fucking hyped. I was so like, oh, what the fuck? He keeps berating him. He keeps berating Rey. He's like, you're nothing. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill Luke. He's just basically laying out his master plan. I'm gonna kill everyone. I'm gonna wipe out. I'm gonna just smash out Hope. There will be no more Hope. Hope is gone. Ben, what the fuck is Ben gonna do? You think he's gonna flip on me? I'm his master. You're gonna kill this chick. It's like, you will strike her down. And he sees it. And then fucking Kylo kills him, and it's like, badass. And because you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And then him and Rey just take on the Imperial guards. And you're like, yo, what the fuck? Later on, you're like, Kylo can kill Snoke. Kylo can, fight with Luke. Why is he having trouble with an Imperial guard? Why did he have trouble with Rey? What the fuck? And yeah, maybe it could be explained by like every time he kills a mentor, his father, like it fucks him up. It messes with his chi, with his force, and like, it breaks him. So I could understand that. Like, the first time he killed his dad, then he couldn't take on Rey. Then he killed the supreme leader Snoke. He couldn't take on an Imperial guard. Like, Rey had to step up and save him. Still one of the coolest scenes in the movie. And then the one right after with Luke taking on his nephew was just as cool. There's so many things you could nitpick and stuff. But it was awesome, man. Like, it's still a Star Wars movie, and like I get it. There's like, oh, we didn't like this. The one thing I didn't like. All right, so then, blah, blah, blah. Luke is a fucking drama queen, dude. Like, Luke has always been extra as fuck. Always. Like, and this is going to be a fucking 20-minute review. Luke, he's always been extra since fucking New Hope. Since I can remember Luke, is always about that action, always about being extra and petty and fuck. So he's like, I am no longer, I am blocking the force out. You know what I mean? Like I'm facing it out. I'm fuck the force, fuck the Jedi. I ain't about that shit. Uh, you know what I mean? And the scenes where he's gonna kill Kylo, the one where he had the fucking Sith eyes and he's yellow and he's freaking out. It was like the Hobbit when he fucking flips and he's like, ah! That was cool. but but like the whole time you're like, ooh, what's the first thing Luke's gonna say? He tosses the sword. Oh, Luke, you're extra. What's Luke been up to? He's been fucking training, getting buff as fuck, getting ready to, come back or to teach Ray something. Like with that island, it reminds me so much of like kung fu movies with like the big stairs, and he's like, oh, there's gonna be a fucking training montage. Like when we see in the trailer when she's training, he's gonna train her, he's gonna give her like sick lessons. Nah, Luke's out here drinking fucking milk from the tap. He's like sucking milk from the tap. He's out here fishing. He's living the fucking leisure life. He's in fucking Margaritaville. He doesn't give a shit. And you're like, what the hell? And it's like he keeps getting begged, and he's kind of always being a dick to Ray. Like, who are you? Who sent you? I don't give a fuck. Who are? It's like B. Later on, he realizes like my ego is what drove me to this shit. Which is weird. Like to me, when like his explanation was like, look, in a moment of weakness and thought, I look at Ben and I see like the darkness in him. I'm like, have I lost him? So he whips out his lightsaber and he turns it on. It's like, yo, Yoda saw the same shit in you. Like Yoda's like, should I even train this kid? Like he's too old. He's gonna fucking turn to the dark side. Like he's gonna like he might not even be able to control this shit. Like he's same thing with Anakin. Like it's been happening. So it's like, dude, when this shit already happened, like why would you like instead of turning around and like showing Ben another way, or you know what I mean? Why? I don't know. That was kind of weird to me. Like why he would make that choice to kill him, just like Anakin killed his Padawan, but especially when he's family. But he says that his ego got to him. His ego fucked him up at the end, which was sad. Him talking about his family and how he felt really fucked up that he failed his sister, and and they weren't like, honestly, like when it gets down to it, like Leia and Han, to us they're heroes, but they just weren't good parents. The stuff with Luke is cool, even when he realizes like, yo, maybe the Force is whack, B. Maybe not whack, like he's just like, maybe the Force isn't like, this isn't what we thought it was. Like I don't know. And not to politicize it, it's just like, fuck, everything we've been taught is a lie. Like young people have to find a better way. Like they gotta take the old and like figure out a new way, because like obviously this shit hasn't worked. It didn't work for the people before me. It didn't work for me. And if they keep doing the same shit, it ain't gonna work for them. Like they gotta figure out their own way. Which is why I felt like I understand people's criticisms about, I didn't like that Luke basically accepted peace and basically became a Force ghost, or he just became the Force. You just see him. At first I was like, is he having a heart attack? Like, which is also expanding on Jedi myth. You're like, whoa, he can fucking be in two places at the same time, but also making himself look younger. That's probably like the last time they saw him, he looked like that. So, I was like, wait, didn't he have white hair? Now he has like full black hair, and he had the mustache. So it's for the audience to know, like, oh, these are two different. And like, but he also could like make Force dice. I don't know. It's fucking crazy. Like, I'm like, oh, so he must be super fucking powerful at this point. Like, he's been in isolation, just in doing mantras and training like crazy. But it eventually becomes, I don't know, like, was it too much? Because that, like, when he comes back and he's like, "I'll be seeing you around, kid," which is like, is he just gonna like annoy him as a Force ghost, like be around Ben all the time, like, "What are you doing?" Like, "Put that down," or is he just gonna annoy him forever? Like, you better flip back, boy. Um, or does he feel like he serves Ray better as a Force ghost than anything he could do for her in real life? I don't know. I don't like that they killed Luke or that he went out that way. Like, he comes back, he seems like he's struggling. I'm like, yo, is he having a fucking heart attack? Then he sits down and fucking in the rock, and then he meditates, and boom, he vanishes, and you're like, whoa, what? I kind of felt like, no, 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 no. Luke needs to live. If Leia goes down, Luke has now a reason to come back, become that hope, become that spark that everyone needs. He won't lead the resistance, but he'll show them. He'll fucking be out there like taking shit on and fighting, and I don't know. Luke will join back to the resistance. Leia dies. We all they have a fucking scene. We all cry where they bury her and stuff, and like we all get to emotionally let Carrie Fisher go, R.I.P. But they didn't. They like she lives, she goes on, and you're like, wait, didn't they say Carrie Fisher won't come back for the next one? They kind of painted themselves in this corner. You're like, what the fuck are they gonna do? How are they gonna do it? Like, who is making these decisions? What the fuck? So yeah, I didn't like that Leia lived and that Luke basically became a Force ghost. We'll probably see more of Luke. We just won't see him alive, I guess. Um, which is, I mean, it's a choice. You know what I mean? The Leia part to me is like, well, if they're not gonna CGI her, there has to be footage, something that closes out her character. It's weird, or like, well, like how do we go from her going off to the the end of the universe and trying to like basically bring all the rebels back together and form a real resistance and make a real shot at like bringing peace to the universe, and then like not mention her again, like if that's what she went off to do. But if we don't ever mention her again and we don't see her again, it's gonna be tough. I don't know. I just kind of like, I'd rather she had died and we have a funeral and we all get to cry and we all get to move on, and Luke is the one who's out there doing that because one, Mark Hamill's still alive, and it makes sense. But then another theme that the movie explores is that, yes, when New Hope started, who was Luke Skywalker? We chose that Luke Skywalker was the hero. The movie did. I mean, yes, but he was a nobody. Really, he's a farm boy. Later, it's realized that like, no, he's come from this bloodline that I guess I'd consider it royal. You know what I mean? Like his father's Darth Vader and his sister's Princess Leia, and you know what I mean? Like it's the Skywalker saga. But it seems like the new plan is that, look, rebellions are built on hope. Hope is built on people willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. People like Rose's sister, Rose, Finn, Poe, and yes, Ray. And they're gonna be the future. They're the ones that they're gonna have to fight up and stand up against evil. And just how Skywalker was just a farm boy, and not until someone told him, "Hey, kid, you're special. You have the Force." You know what I mean? Like, you might have felt your whole life that you were different. Well, you guess what? Yes, you are. And now that they're showing us like, hey, Ray, Kylo tells Ray, your parents were nobodies. You're nobody. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Everybody wanted her to be Ben's kid, Leia's kids. Everyone wanted to be Luke's kid, but no, guess what? You're nobody. Your parents were drunks. They sold you off for a fucking shot of fucking Patron or whatever. You're nobody. But she's still strong with the Force, which means anybody could be strong with the Force. And that ending scene with the slavers kids, the kids in the slave, like in the casino town, where that kid's holding Rose's ring with the rebellion symbol, looking up in the sky. That was Luke one day when he wanted to become a pilot. That was Luke. And then he grabs his broom and he's out here kind of using the force and kind of fucking swinging it around like that's his lightsaber. People said, like, I heard people bitch about that. But as a Star Wars fan, tell me as a child you didn't use your broom as a lightsaber. You didn't fight your brothers with that shit. You didn't fucking smack your brothers around and you didn't have lightsaber battles. This is all like what we all did. Like these kids are playing with toys in another language. They're like Luke Skywalker and they're talking about the fucking hope and rebellion. And that's been us growing up with these Star Wars movies. They give us hope, they give us inspiration. We can talk about these movies all day. Um and seeing that kid like swing that sword around, like that's us. And the movies after all the legacy characters are gonna die, they have to. We have to leave them behind. Like Kylo says, let the past die. It's gonna have to. And as fans, we're gonna basically have to see our legacy characters go. And guess who's gonna step up? Maybe that kid with the ring. Um, Rose, Finn, Poe, Ray. And I get it. Like some fans don't like that. They don't like the change. They're like, no, we want to stick to this. We want it to keep following this. Like, but it's like resistance are built on hope. Hope is built by regular people like you and me. And that theme I love. I like that Ryan Johnson put that in there. Um, I could understand why people don't like it, but I do. Um, so yeah. Oh, how long have I been rambling for? Almost half an hour. I don't know. I really dug this movie. It was like beautifully shot. The sound is great. The writing could have used work. There's definitely jokes where you're like, I don't know. Could have, I'm not even gonna say. Sometimes like, some of the jokes didn't bother me, but there's definitely stuff where it's like, ooh, there's like it feels like filler. I felt like there's a lot of characters like Snoke. I'm like, unless he comes back, which is like, wow, he was so cool. Why'd you kill him off? Like I love Darth Maul. He was also killed off early. I felt like, wow, why? And now we're also left with who is the villain? Who are we cheering against? Like, is the next movie really Rey trying to flip Kylo back or trying to make him good? Because obviously they have a connection, and it's like, is he gonna make her evil? Is she gonna make him good? Or are they really both gonna come to the terms that maybe being gray, being in the middle, you can't be both. You can't be the ultimate good, you can't be the ultimate bad. But maybe just being right down the middle, and that's the person you could be. Who knows? I don't know. Like without Snoke and the ultimate bad, like Darth Sidious, the Emperor, without those, it's like who is running the show? Who are we cheering against? Like, I don't know. Like, they almost made Kylo too badass to cheer against. I don't know. I liked them a lot. Some people had problems with Adam Driver. I didn't. I thought he was awesome. Like, he's beyond his emo phase. Now he's like a young 20s dude. And he's like that Wall Street guy who, like, he knows what he wants. And he's going to do whatever it takes to get it. I fuck with that. That's dope. In a way. What else? What else, man? There's so many cool things about this movie, and like things that obviously didn't work. The Laura Dern character also like, what, we don't like her because Poe doesn't like her. Like at first I was like, she's kind of sketchy, but then it's like, no, she was good the whole time. The ultimate sacrifice. She fucking, she drives her, the ship through it and saves them. Which also, her and Benicio del Toro are just like great actors, underused, underserved. But there was also like so many characters already like that all needed to do stuff, and they all needed an arc, and they all needed to push the story forward, and they all needed like future threads that we needed to talk about for the future. So I understand why some people didn't get as much screen time. Then again, you got these great actors. I wish they would have given them more stuff. But yeah, Rose, what? Rose hitting Finn, taking him out. I didn't get that. I was like, wow. She basically endangered. Like, if Finn was successful, yes, he would have killed himself. But he would have saved him. At least bought him some time. Because she didn't know Luke was coming. Or that that Rey is coming with the Millennium Falcon. You know what I mean? Or she already had showed up. But like that even that she could pick up the rebels, the rest of them, and like move them away. She did a selfish act, you know? Where she's like, no, no. And then also that kiss, where the fuck did that come from? There's like, where was the sexual tension between them? I didn't feel it. Was that kiss added just so we didn't keep talking about Rey and Poe? Or what? I don't know. I was like, what the fuck was that about? Like, I don't know where she's like, I love you. And then they kiss and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? I don't know. That was just an out of nowhere thing for me. Maybe other people saw it coming. I didn't. Then again, I don't know. I fucking love the movie, guys. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Last Jedi, Star Wars, everyone killed it. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's my favorite Star Wars, but then again, I don't know. It's gonna take multiple viewings to like really rank it somewhere in my, like, how many is there now? 9 or whatever. Like, it's top 5 for sure. I think it has to be. It's better than any prequel. And some people are like, it's worse than the prequel all over Twitter. It's like, no, it's not. That scene with Kylo and Rey alone, better than anything in the prequels, I think. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you for watching. Please share the video. Please give it a like. Subscribe. Check out our Patreon, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys later. I hope you guys enjoyed the movie, and I hope you enjoyed the review. And sorry for my ramblings, but I love Star Wars. See you guys later.